John, let me show you how you can save $400,000 a year in your distribution, just like that. So, welcome back to the channel, and if you're wondering how John saved $400,000 a year in his distribution, just like that, well, let me explain. I'm going to be sharing a few case studies over the coming weeks. Now, before you get too excited, I have to adapt these case studies to protect client confidentiality and lots of other things. So the stories are all true. I will have to change names, industries, maybe countries, things like that, just to mask the real identity, obviously. But the first one I'm going to be sharing is about John and his, let's say it's a company in the photographic industry. Now, this is going back a few years, and you probably need to be close to my age to remember cameras like this, where you actually had to open the back of the camera and put the film inside. This is a 35mm Canon, great camera. And of course, you would snap away and you'd take your 24 shots or 36 shots, and then you would take the film out. You would take it to a film processor where they would develop the negatives and print your films. That used to take days, and then it got down to sort of 1 hour Photoshops and all the rest of it. Well, why am I talking about 35mm cameras? Well, it was photographic supplies. And what I was doing is working with a company and looking at their warehousing processes. And so we would go through from receipt to dispatch and looking at trying to improve the productivity and the flow of product through the warehouse. And I was walking through the warehouse one day and talking to some of the staff there, and they were packing orders for some very inexpensive looking products. Now, what were they? They were white cotton gloves. And they were packing these in eaches, like one pair, and packing them into overnight courier bags and sending them off to customers. Now, part of what we were doing with this company was looking at the cost to serve through their warehouse. So what does it cost to actually process every single order in the warehouse, from receipting and storing and picking and packing and dispatching? And I was amazed at these white cotton gloves. And so I did a bit of a back of the envelope calculation on it. And the next time I met up with the boss, John, I said, John, I can save you $400,000 a year, just like that. And of course, he was intrigued to know how we could do that. So what I basically said to him was, those white cotton gloves that all of your customers buy? And the reason the gloves were necessary were that they were used for handling the negatives of the films after they've been processed, so you don't scratch the negatives. And so every photographic processor in the region was using these things, and they were selling thousands of them, thousands and thousands. But people were ordering them by ones and two pairs. Now, what was really interesting, well, I won't spoil the sort of punchline, but I said, John, those white cotton gloves, one of your most popular products, this is how you save $400,000 a year. I said, every time a customer orders a pair of those gloves, take $5, put it in an envelope, send it to the customer, and tell them to go and buy them elsewhere. One of those big discount chains where they can go and buy the gloves. And that way, you'll save $400,000 a year. And he looked at me like, you're nuts. There's obviously more to this. Okay, so explain, Rob. I said, well, you're selling these gloves for, I think it was $5. And when I look at the processes in your warehouse, when you are receipting and storing and picking and packing, it costs you about $7 through that whole warehouse process to get that pair of gloves in an envelope ready to be dispatched to the client. It's about $7. So you've already lost $2. Then you put it in an overnight satchel. It could be or may not be with other products, and you send it to the client. And that costs you another $7. So $14 in costs so far. We've got $7, we've lost $9. Why not just give the client $5 for asking for the product and tell them to go away and buy it elsewhere? And you're saving, you're cutting your losses, if you like. So obviously, he appreciated that it was a bit of a joke, but he said, okay, so how do we fix it? Like any good MD of a company, okay, I get the simple analogy. How do we actually fix that? I said, John, the answer is just so simple. These gloves come in packs of 5 pairs. And he went, I mean, the answer was so simple, wasn't it? You can't order single pairs anymore. You have to, the minimum order is a pack of 5. And suddenly you're not losing money on the product, you're making money, and you've stopped that profit leakage in your supply chain. Okay, so that's a story from a little while ago, talking about all-style cameras and cotton gloves, but I see it every day of the week in businesses still now, years later. And so my question to you is, look at your supply chain, think about the different customers you've got, their different ordering patterns and habits. Look at your product profile, the value of the products, how often they're ordered, in what quantity are they ordered. And I can bet you somewhere in your business, you're going to have the equivalent of the white cotton gloves. Your job is to find the white cotton gloves in your business and eliminate that profit leakage. And generally, it's as easy as putting in a minimum order quantity. Just think about different, I've seen it in every industry. I've seen it in the pharmaceutical sector where, or in the healthcare generally, where customers were allowed to order, let's say, 1 vaccine. A bit topical, isn't it? But, you know, annual flu vaccines, you could order 1. And the cost of distributing that 1 vaccine in cold chain conditions and all the rest of it, you know, through to the person giving the injection was phenomenal. And they were losing money on every single one. In every industry, there will be the white cotton gloves. I'd love to hear your comments down below. In your industry, what's the equivalent of the white cotton glove, the inexpensive product that people order in very small quantities that you're currently losing money on? There you go, a very simple example, very simple case study, and I'll be sharing more over the coming weeks. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if you are not subscribed, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be able to keep track of when we have new videos coming up on the channel. And actually, if you hit the bell, you will get an email saying there is a new video on the channel, come and have a look. But I'll let you into a secret. Videos come out every Tuesday evening, Sydney, Australia time. See you then. Bye for now.